Are you sick and tired of trying to fiddle with the keys every single time just to open the car? Imagine if it's raining and you have a kid and you need to do that. The key right here deteriorates and it has more chance of it breaking. So on this 2006 Suzuki Grand Vitara, we're gonna install one of these guys. For about 20 bucks, I bought a basic keyless entry device and we're gonna install it in here because there's constant light and the keys are not in the ignition, and this button right here locks and unlocks the car. If this button right here always has power and this always has power, then you can install this trigger remote that will pretty much press these buttons for you. So when you're approaching the car with your child while it's raining, then perhaps the door could be open already so you guys could get in and you don't have to fiddle with the door. So what I did first is I took off the door, relatively easy, one bolt and a whole bunch of plastic clips that are holding the panel. There you go. This is where the trouble started happening, because as you can see, this is one whole unit and all the wiring is inside, so this comes in one connector. And so if you have one of these things isolated by itself and you have wires going to it, then you know those are the wires you need to mess with. But in this case we don't. So I took off the whole thing, and what I did first is I got a ground right here with my DMM, digital multimeter. Ooh. And I went around and I looked to see which ones are positive. And then I took one of the positives and started going around and see if it would do anything, just really fast. And one of them actually closed the doors, and so I found one that closed and I found one that opened. So basically what I'm trying to say here is I found the jumper wire and I used that positive terminal and I went around different pins until the vehicle started closing and opening, and that's how I knew that those wires were the ones that I needed to mess with. First, how this works is you have this ground, and any ground on your car works as well. I tested it out, and this pink wire and that pink wire closes and opens. So then I followed this pink wire and it led to right here. These are the same two things. And then this is where the tricky part starts, is because you don't, it's not accessible. If this area is accessible in your car, then good for you. But on mine it's not. I had to go under. So I clicked the button a couple of times. So I heard that the sound was coming from this box right here. And so what I did is I unplugged one of these one by one, these three connections. I unplugged the top one, and then I press lock and unlock. It still did something. So then I unplugged the central one, the one in the middle. It wouldn't do anything, so pretty much that told me that the wires were in that connector. So took out the connector, found the wires. It actually happens to be one of the wires where it's these two wires right here. That's it. So all I need to do is plug my unit into these two wires that open and close, and it should do the trick, and I don't have to mess with none of that stuff. But in your case it might be different. You might need to slice the wire, figure it out yourself. So then I'm gonna need to run it somehow up here, because this is where I'm gonna have the little unit. This is gonna be in there, and because you're trying to, for the small antenna that it has, you're trying to put it as high as you can so you can get the best reception. So the next important thing is to figure out where is the ground and the constant terminal. So here's the connection. I found it. It was this little white wire and black for ground. Hooked it up. Sounds like it double clicks, but I think That's because there's two relays in there, and there's these like lights that will flash once when the door is locked. I don't really give a shit about that. All we care is that the car locks and unlocks when this works. So we have experimentally hooked up the wires to the proper cables. The white ones. The yellow ones are supposed to be connected through ground because that's the trigger. I soldered too soon, and I'm probably gonna cut it again and add another line. But anyway, there it is. This is just for demonstrational purposes. If you like this video so far, please like and subscribe. So check this out. We got this wiring right here all done. We got the little box in there. If I press the remote right now, it clicks in there. Got the wire running up there, up there, up there. Up there, up there, up there. It comes out right here. Got it right there in that little hole. And there's the wire. I just gotta catch it, plug it into two of these, pull it down a little bit, cut the slack, patch everything back up, and it'll be good. Make sure to always solder your connections. Don't use those easy quick pins. Those things will always go bad after a while. The solder is always best to do any kind of electrical work. So this is the end result. All the wires are tucked away and put away nice and neatly. Nothing's hanging, nothing's loose. Everything right here is nice and like it's supposed to be, the way it was before. So there we go. Easy install. About 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Get it done with no problems. Comment, let me know what you guys think.